So let me set the Akashic Records straight. What we are talking about here is something that goes by several names. Think of Akashic as meaning etheric or energetic. They are the energetic records, the quantum records. This is more about quantum physics than it is some mystical library of information. But of course, some people would have you believe that it is some mystical thing because they walk around calling it the Akashic Records. People like to put a fantastic spin on things that are hard to comprehend. So what do? They try practicing something they do not thoroughly understand, but they want enlightenment. They want knowledge and answers to suddenly come to them. They start meditating. They buy books, images of sacred geometry, crystals, candles, incense, herbs, oils, potions, lotions, concoctions, detoxins, and then it's animal bones, skulls, and feet. And then there are a few who start talking to invisible entities. Are they good? Are they bad? I don't know. I don't know either. That's why I don't talk to them. So we're going to get into this because I do believe having some understanding of the Akashic Records is important. I want to explain how this is working in your life already. And I hope you receive this information well because you asked for it. If you were to try and think of the Akashic Records as some type of library, you'll just confuse yourself. Think of it as a biological function. You see, right now, there are thoughts running through your head. Where's that information coming from? How are you accessing that information? Your mind seems to just do it automatically. But that's just the conscious mind. So it must be the subconscious mind that is going through all the files. But where are those files? I'm sure most of you would agree that they are stored in the neural network of the body. But how? Well, by code. Like the ones and zeros stored on a hard drive. But instead of ones and zeros, we use subatomic particles, such as the electron. And these particles are not confined to the body. You have all types of radiation, waves, frequencies passing through your body right now, all the time. Now, from our perspective, all these particles move virtually in an instant. So, the transmission of those particles is extremely fast. In quantum theory, there's something called quantum superposition. And what that basically means is a particle such as an electron can be in two different locations simultaneously. Physicists from Stanford University have been able to demonstrate this up to a distance of almost 2 feet. What's interesting about this is just the simple act of observing these particles in superposition causes a wave function collapse, preventing us from taking long-distance measurements. And this is how they brain the D-Wave quantum computer with the qubit, which is basically binary code in superposition, a machine that can tap into the artificial database in record time. Now, you are not a quantum computer, but you work the same way. This is where they got the idea. The problem here is, and the problem with most humans are, they don't know how to use their built-in interface. And most of us are not in sync with other human beings. We're just not. Look up at a flock of birds, or watch a school of fish. How do they move in unison? Is it because of practice, good eyesight? No, they are connected when they are around each other, and so they form something like a mastermind. For humans, I believe that this communication link extends much further than any small bird or fish. I'm sure many of you have heard examples of people having identical thoughts at around the same time in different locations around the world. You know, there are cases where people have come up with the same evolutionary ideas at around the same time, such as the film projector and microchip. But none of this should surprise you. It shouldn't. You should know by now, or you should come to realize, that human beings are indeed connected on some metaphysical level, or quantum level, or spiritual level, or whatever you want to call it. It is something that can be measured and has been measured. Look into the research done at the University of Washington or Harvard. They have been able to transmit specific words and commands to subjects on opposite ends of their campus. They have been experimenting with this for a very long time. And those experiments were done around 5 years ago. Who knows what they can do now? All based on the fact that they know humans can do this successfully. Now, the same way the sun emits radiation in all directions, so does your body emit radiation in all directions. And it is theorized that this radiation, this energy, carries with it the transmission of the files you have stored not just in your skull, but throughout the cells of your nervous system, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At the same time, you are receiving all this radiation and these transmissions from other people. And it's subtle, it is very subtle, almost imperceptible at first, but this is why people go and meditate. It is sensitivity training. It is designed to help your mind focus, which will give you better access to your subconscious. And what you are actually doing when you meditate is you are training your mind to focus, so that when you come out of meditation, little by little, you can think with better clarity, because you have been practicing to focus on just one thing at a time. Meditation should not be overlooked. If you want a muscle to do something the way you want it to, you have to train it, right? Prayer is a form of meditation, as a person is focusing only on communicating with whoever they're communicating with. One of the reasons most people close their eyes, to internalize the focal point. Einstein had an idea that everything in the universe, everything moves at the same time, which means that time does not exist in the grand scheme of things. It is something we have confined ourselves to as a man-made structure. And on a quantum level, the past, present, and future are all locked in together as one. So all the information that ever was or ever will be is in existence simultaneously, in theory. Remember, we are electrical, magnetic beings that emit radiation and can receive it in the form of your senses. That's what taste is. Your brain is decoding the information provided by your tongue and the sense of smell. The same with eyesight and your sense of touch. Hearing is a great example of how your brain decodes frequencies. There is another sense, the sixth sense, and that is your emotions. How many of you would consider pain to be an emotion? After all, it can be psychologically induced. When you think about it, physical pain and emotional pain feel pretty much the same, because your body is sending you the same message in both cases. It is telling you that something is seriously not right. That goes for all your other emotions. They are just indicators that things are either good or bad at different levels. Emotions are a built-in guidance system. So yes, I believe that if you are in a emotionally good place, if your body is relatively healthy, and if you are able to focus quite well, you could tap into the etheric network, the Akashic Records, to magnetically attract an idea or thought, a vision. You know, people have their methods. Some people pray to God, some people channel, some people remote view, some people look into the aid of physical objects like crystals, sacred geometry. Some people believe it is a matter of ritual if you want answers. And a few people go that route. They go to see psychics, shaman, priest, and some may attempt to get the answers from extra-dimensional or extraterrestrial entities. But don't think for a second that any of these beings can't lie or be wrong. Take Baba Vanga, for instance. My God, trying to find a non-creepy image of this sweet old lady was nearly impossible, even when she was younger, which is obviously done on purpose. This is the best I could do. But she has an incredible story and is noted as one of the world's greatest prophetess. Now, even though a few of her predictions were almost spot on, she was also wrong. A lot. In the case of Baba Vanga, it seems she developed an ability, due to her being blind, to tune into these quantum transmissions better than others, but may have been off a bit when decoding the information. Remember, it only takes one little thing to screw up the whole prophecy. Like a dream. Do you folks realize how awesome it is for your brain to be able to make instant movies in your head while you sleep? You're not even thinking and your body makes movies for you in an interactive environment. No budget, no director. You don't have to hire a cast. Your brain just creates people. People you have never seen before in your life. Special effects, all done in about an hour after you fall asleep. And I gotta say, they are some of the best movies I've ever experienced. By the way, what if I told you that dreaming is actually the optimal way to tap into the Akashic Records? Take some white paper and blue ink, write down a problem to where you need a solution, go to sleep, and see if you can come up with a solution after you wake up. So you don't read the Akashic Records as words. You see images, pictures, scenes, visions, in a different realm of time. We more often remember the weirdest dreams. Do you know why? Because there is an emotion attached to that dream. This is how memory works. For example, here's a trick for not forgetting where you place objects. Let's say you want to remember where you put your keys. Wherever you put them, just imagine those keys catching fire. Then the room catches fire. Then the whole house burns down. Trust me, you won't forget where you put those keys. You can take this example and play with it. Be imaginative. It is good practice for your memory. You can use this technique to remember people's names. You can exaggerate a physical quality in each individual. Let's say I meet Jane, who wears glasses. I could recite in my head, Jane has big goofy glasses. Jane is the glasses queen. She is Jane, queen of the glasses. As corny as it sounds, it works. And as soon as I see those glasses, it's going to trigger that memory that was attached to an emotion. You need to use something that will make you giggle a little bit inside. Memory is important with this. If you want to access information that is coming to you via law of attraction, then you need to be able to focus better so you can decode information. You need to be physically healthier. Your cells have to function well, in other words. You also need to be able to have a good memory. You're going to know when you are doing this correctly because your reaction time is going to improve. You're going to be mentally quicker. You're going to pick up on things more efficiently. Something like spidey sense. Edgar Cayce is, of course, one of the go-to guys for information about this. Jesus, of course, and there are many others throughout history that get into this stuff. They just call it something else, that's all. I think it is important for you to understand the physics behind all this because a thought is a physical thing. But see, most of you do not know how powerful the human mind is. What if I told you that your thoughts are recorded in the ether, and with the right magnetic conditions, you could time travel with the help of a machine, using your thoughts as the controls? We are naturally intuitive beings. I believe we upload and download qubits of information from each other's brains all the time. Does this extend outside our planet or into other realms? I can't answer that. But if there is a God, I do know that it at least extends to him. As far as other beings are concerned, I would lean on the side of caution. Those of you looking for answers in the Akashic Records, or whatever you want to call it, you think of a question, the answer is coming. The problem is, most people can't focus or remember anything, thanks to bad health and the internet. And so they can't focus on the question long enough. And when the answer does come, they are not paying attention. I guess as human beings, we are quite negligent indeed. Tuned out. But maybe when you sleep tonight, you'll awaken with just a few more questions answered.